Hello, I'm Heather.
And I'm Ryan.
Welcome to the podcast. It's game night, it's sibling rivalry, it's a walk down memory lane, but most importantly, it's politics free.
Guaranteed.
Welcome to round 3 of Your Worst Nightmare. Here's how it works. We have a set of cards. On each one is written a nightmare. We'll pick 4 cards, and Ryan will have to place them in the correct order according to what he thinks my worst nightmare is. Then we'll flip it around, and it'll be my turn. Whoever scores the most points wins the ever-coveted Gloating Rights Trophy. Until we play a fucking again.
Until we play again.
Okay, I'm going to let you off the hook because you're not feeling well and you're all congested. We're going to move on. Which, by the way, we don't have listener responses this week, but I did do some fun research inspired by the cards in this game. So stay tuned for that. Ryan, are you ready for your first batch here?
I am ready.
Excellent. Toilet paper stuck on your shoe. The Abominable Snowman, telling a joke and no one laughs, touching worms.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
So, I figure for your order, least to worst, The Abominable Snowman, touching worms, toilet paper stuck to shoe, and telling a joke and no one laughs.
Wow, you got the Abominable Snowman. You got that one.
All right.
That is my least fear on this list. Touching worms is my number 1.
Okay. All right.
Telling a joke and no one laughs was number 2, but it was a close call. But the overwhelming feeling of disgust that comes into my whole being whenever any kind of creepy crawly thing touches me.
Yeah.
Definitely is worse than nobody laughing at my joke, which admittedly does suck. I can't stand it when that happens.
Yeah.
But
that would be my number 1.
it's only annoying. It's more annoying if they don't get the joke than if they just don't think it's funny.
I feel better if they don't get the joke than just not finding it funny. Yeah, because then I'm like, oh, phew.
For me, it's they want to take it seriously and argue with me, or they have some opinion, and I'm like, yeah, but I was joking. Oh my God, leave me alone.
Right.
It was a joke.
Yeah.
Like, please stop. But let's move on. So to wrap this one little round up here, I am touching worms, 1, telling a joke and no one laughs, 2, toilet paper stuck on your shoe, 3, The Abominable Snowman, 4.
Man, the way that you reacted when you were like... Initially, I thought I nailed it. I was like, hell yeah. And then you're like, you just got one right.
That was my revenge for all of your boasting in the last episode. I was going to be ready to rub in your face that you got none of them right. And then I realized as I was about to tell you got nothing right that you actually did get one right. So I had to change tack in the middle of what I was doing. Anyway, moving on.
Here are my cards, and for what it's worth, I had difficulty placing these myself. So, here we go. Washing, violence, walking under ladders, and family reunions.
Okay. I just kind of took the 3. There's one on this list that I think you would hate more than the other 3, and the other 3 just seemed super equal to me. So, I'm just going to go for it.
That's how I looked at these.
Okay. 4, washing. Because washing can also be kind of enjoyable. If you're all grimy from work and then you take a shower, you feel good. So I put that at 4.
Yes.
3, walking under ladders because, again, the rewardingness of washing versus I don't think you're very superstitious like I am. Then 2, family reunions because why not? And then 1, violence. I don't know how'd I do.
You nailed it, Heather.
Yes! At last I nailed one. At last. Oh, that feels good, because I need to catch up, because you're way ahead of me in this game. All right, are you ready for this next set of cards to suck at? I mean, good luck.
Yes, I am. I did have difficulty with this one, too.
All right. Okay, if it makes you feel any better, I also had difficulty with this particular one. Here we go.
I think I screwed this one up.
Okay, well.
100%.
Let's find out. Doctors, addicts, public speaking, secondhand smoke.
Okay, from least to worst, public speaking, secondhand smoke, addicts, doctors.
You fucking nailed it. You fucking
Did
nailed
I really?
it. You did. I'm so proud of you. That's fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. Because public speaking does not frighten me. I've done a lot of public speaking. And it's like, and when you very first start with it, you're nervous, but as you get used to it, you just don't care anymore. So you kind of get over it. Secondhand smoke, I'm like, it's not the greatest, but these days, especially with so few people that actually smoke, actually being in the presence of secondhand smoke is rare anymore.
Right.
Addicts do have a creep factor.
Yes.
And doctors can kill me. They can also help me, but they can also kill me. All right, bro. Hit me with my last 4.
All right. Dogs, tofu, wearing other people's clothes, and breaking a mirror.
I had a tough time here.
As did I.
Because I felt like none of these were particularly nightmarish for you.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them is. Okay, well, I put dogs at 4 because, there's sometimes dogs attack you, but usually they're friendly and nice.
Right. 3,
I put tofu because I think you actually kind of like tofu. I don't think you have any problems with tofu. 2, I put wearing other people's clothes because, they could have something gross in there. I don't know. And then breaking a mirror because I felt like, and no offense, but you tend to be a bit accident prone. And sometimes that results in injury. And so I figured breaking a mirror might be the top of your list for that reason.
Well, Heather, I have some good news for you and some bad news for you.
I got 1 right. Did I get 1 right?
The good news is you got 2 right.
Yes!
I put tofu as my least. Dogs is my second because, as you said, dogs can be violent, but most of the time they're not.
Okay.
I did put wearing other people's clothes because I really don't like wearing other people's clothes.
Okay.
And then I put breaking mirrors as my worst. So you got those 2 right.
Okay.
But I put breaking mirrors as my worst simply because...
Please tell me.
Breaking glass sucks. And the cleanup sucks. And I would rather wear somebody else's clothes than break glass of any kind.
Yes, cleaning up broken. And then you never know if you got it all. And you run the risk of stepping on something you missed later. And that's awful in and of itself.
Yes.
I remember once when I was teeny tiny, this just came into my mind. I was running around barefoot somewhere like a mall or something.
Oh.
And I don't
weird.
know where Mom was, or I was at the grocery store with Mom or something. And I just sat down because I stepped on some broken glass. I was like maybe 5 and I was crying because it hurt. And this random lady walked by me and said, "You know what? Why are you crying?" I said, "I have something in my foot." And she said, "Let me see." And I held my foot up to her and she whips out her hand, which had these very long red acrylic nails. And she just dug into my foot and scooped out the broken piece of glass.
Hell yeah.
And was like, "Have a nice day," and left me there. But I felt better because the glass was gone.
So I don't know if you remember back when we were very young. I was probably 3 or 4 at the time. But we were running around the living room. You were chasing me. And I ducked behind the couch to get away from you. And I sat down and put my ass through the window and got a shard of glass stuck in my butt cheek.
I ran out of there so fast because I knew I was going to be in such deep shit because I'm the one that chased you into a corner you had no way out of.
And then Dad had to dig it out.
Yes, he
of
did.
my butt.
I still
Yes.
have that image imprinted on my mind because you're bent over his knee and you're squirming everywhere, writhing and screaming. And he's like, hold still, trying to get this like glass wedge out of your butt. Oh, my God. Good times. Good times. Yeah. All right. Well, Ryan, that brings the score. I actually won this game. It's 6-5.
Yes, you did.
I won by 1, which brings our running score to Ryan 15, Heather 12. I'm catching up. And I get the gloating rights trophy for this episode, so don't even try to keep taking it from me just because you have a longer running score.
I just want to say you have an advantage this week because, with my face all stuffy and congested and I'm not like at 100% right now, my game was not
Excuses.
On par.
Excuses.
You just wait till next week, Heather.
When I kick your butt and take the lead? Okay, I'll wait for that.
Getting a beat down.
Until then.
Because I've done it before.
Until then, Ryan, I introduce to you a new segment that I like to call Research Inspired by This Week's Game. As I was preparing these cards for the game, and one of them had as a nightmare washing, I went, what? Washing? Somebody has washing as a nightmare. So I got super curious and I Googled this. It's called ablutophobia, a fear of bathing or washing. It turns out it's quite common in toddlers as a phobia.
Yeah, okay.
And it's not just like, no, I don't want to take a bath. It's legitimately, they're terrified of being bathed or washed.
Right.
Got to hold them down and scrub them. Or whatever you do these days. I don't know. In my day, if one of us had been terrified of water, we would have been held down and scrubbed clean. That's what would have happened. It's more common in women than in men if it's in adults.
That actually surprises me that it's more common in women than men. Because, let's be real. Men are kind of disgusting.
Yeah, it did surprise me as well. I was kind of like, oh, interesting. I didn't really look at the actual study that was done because, that stuff's way over my head. It's like super complicated language and stuff. And this is just a fun podcast. But specific phobias account for like less than 1% of all phobias. Like this, like when you have a very specified, like washing or,
clowns
or something like that. So
balloons. So
ablutophobia, although more common in women than men, is actually very, very uncommon anyway.
Right.
And then I got to thinking, well, are there ways of bathing that don't require water? And what do you know? Free advertisement for dry bath. How to keep clean without using a drop of water. What's that?
Whore baths.
Whore baths. Do you get clean in a whore bath? I feel like I don't know what a whore bath is.
A whore bath is like when you clean yourself with baby wipes.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the methods. Yes.
Yeah.
Baby wipes. But there's also a product called Dry Bath, how to keep clean without using a drop of water. It's a germ-killing gel. You put it on and you rub it off with your hands.
That sounds like water's involved, if it's a gel. And that doesn't sound very dry at all.
That's a good point. Maybe it's a dry gel. I don't know. I didn't use it. There's also dry shampoo sprays, like you just spray it on, apparently.
Right, yes.
And then, like, there's got to be light or air pressure heat, maybe alcohol type stuff. Because do you remember that movie Gattaca?
Yes.
In there, he sat in this, like, chamber and, like, was just blasted by air or something for a bath. And then, like, it all burned as he stepped out. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah, because they had to blow off all the
dead skin cells.
Dead skin, loose hair, all that stuff, so that he didn't leave anything behind and so he wouldn't get caught. Because he was an invalid.
That is correct. That's a great movie, by the way. Gattaca, recommended. There's also different schools of thought on how often you even need to bathe. But I like to just go for it every single day.
Absolutely.
Yes. Now, Ryan.
Yes.
I also want to introduce creepy attic stories from Reddit.
Okay.
because I wanted to tell some creepy attic stories. But, by the way, tell us your creepy attic story or any story inspired by these episodes and the games we play. Go to our website, thepoliticsfreepodcast.com. If you scroll down, there's links to our email and our voicemail. You can tell us your story or you can write it to us. Also, you can go to any of the Instagram posts I've put up and write it there. Links to all of that in the show notes, of course. Ryan, are you ready for these?
I'm ready.
All right. This one's from, well, I'm going to say button my back, but it might be butt on my back. But anyways, here we go. When we first moved into my house, the house I currently reside in 20 years ago, I wandered up the attic to stack some boxes. Most of the attic is covered in that white powdery stuff that you're not supposed to walk on, else you'll fall through the floor. The old owners put wooden planks over the beams on one half of the attic so we could walk there and stack storage and everything. The creepy thing is, there were several large footprints in the powder. When I showed my dad, he was just as baffled as I was because, again, if anyone stepped over there, they'd have fallen right through. And the footprints were between the beams, as if whoever was there stepped over the beams, which would have been the only stable parts to walk on. The footprints are still there 20 years later, and it still weirds me out.
That is super weird.
You know what I want to know? First of all, I think it's a ghost. But if we're going to be critical of this story, let's think about it for a second. Did anyone ever actually try walking on the... You always get told that story. You're going to fall through if you step on that.
Right.
But maybe you wouldn't really... If just one quick step wouldn't break the entire ceiling into the floor below. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's possible it's a little more sturdy than he thinks.
Depending on the age of the house, if it was an older house, I would think that it would actually be more sturdy than a modern house because I believe they would use plaster and lathe, even for ceilings.
Okay.
Which I think is stronger than drywall. But I could be wrong. I could be totally pulling that one out of my ass.
Yeah, well, I don't know anything about construction, so all I know is I actually did one time step, but I was a small child at the time.
Yes, same.
Onto the don't step on this part, you'll fall through the ceiling, just to see if I would fall through the ceiling, and I did not fall through the ceiling, much to my disappointment.
Wasn't it the one of the Griswold movies, Christmas Vacation, where Chevy Chase falls through the attic and he's stuck?
That sounds very Griswoldy. It does, but it's been so long since I've seen it that I don't remember.
I remember that being very hilarious. Anyway.
Anywho, next creepy attic story is from God of Cat.
Ooh.
The two houses that I lived in that did have attics had nothing in them, but a friend's house did. We went up there and there was a lone box in the center of the room. It was labeled kitchen, and inside was a bunch of pictures. We noticed some were just scenery and were probably taken on a Polaroid camera. Then there was some random pictures of crowds of people in the street. Cars, 1970s type cars, so these weren't new pictures, going by, and even a picture of a woman walking down the street showed up a couple of times. Stopping right there, it's already creeping me out. Who has boxes of that random stuff? Our old pictures all have people in them from activities and things that we did, like birthday parties. So,
but this sounds like scenery. There's people who take pictures of scenery.
With their Polaroid camera?
Sure. I mean, if it's an old box, Polaroids were super hot back in the day.
You just go around taking pictures of scenery and crowds and one woman walking down the street?
That one's weird, but we don't know who that person is. That could be somebody that person knew and took a picture. You know what I mean?
That's true, but there's more. So,
okay.
Then we got to a picture with all black, and my friend said that you could make out a little gray face staring back at the camera. And then we heard his mom come into the house, and I don't think we were supposed to be in the attic, so we ran downstairs and never went in the attic again. Friend moved out in 2010, I think. They didn't tell the buyers of the attic, so who knows? The pictures could still be up there or gone. I think the friend made up the little gray face staring back at them in the camera.
Yeah. That's not a creepy story at all.
No, it's not a creepy story. I thought it was going to get good. Spoiler alert, I didn't read these beforehand. From The Lonely Strag. Me and my friend went to the attic at my new place to put stuff up there. And there is this little door that has a small area big enough for a kid. And it was meant for extra space. And inside we found a dead rat and candles and a semi-finished pentagram inside it. And after I left, come to find out, there was a suicide in the house. Now that's creepy. That's the creepiest one on here.
Heather, do you have any creepy attic stories?
Let me think about it. Do you?
I don't.
No. Why'd you bring it up then?
I just wanted to know if you had a creepy attic story. I just have a creepy space story.
Okay.
I think it was the early 2000s. I went out to St. Louis to help renovate an old psychiatric hospital into a learning center.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going through and taking out all the old light fixtures on whatever floor. And I went into a specific room and was in there and like immediately just felt super uneasy in there. Like it's hard to explain, but it was just like a total mood change.
Mm-hmm.
And I could not stay in there. Like I didn't even take the light down. I was just like, nope. I noped right out of there. I was in there for maybe a minute and I tried to like just power through these feelings. And then I left that room and the whole floor that I was on was like dark.
Oh, that's even creepier.
And that whole floor just gave me the heebie-jeebies, and I was by myself, and I was like, no, I'm done, and I left, and I went and talked to one of the other guys on the crew, and I was like, dude, I cannot be up on that floor by myself. It's super creepy up there, and I told him what happened. He's like, oh, yeah, he's like, that wing was all padded cells. There was all the padded rooms, and they had already taken all the padding off the walls by the time I had gotten there. Wow. And I was like, that explains a lot.
Yeah. There was an aura of unease left behind.
Yes.
Something. All right, Ryan.
Yes.
We did not get any listener stories this week, but we did get a listener response, unsolicited, from my friend Kristen. And because it makes me right and you wrong, I want to share it.
Oh.
All right. She says this. I think if you grow up in a really snowy area or ski when you are little, you know that if you stick your tongue to a cold pole, you just close your mouth and use your spit to take it off.
Mm-hmm.
Or your hand can warm it up too. It doesn't hurt. Maybe me and all my friends and my brother and his were just abnormal, though. No, Kristen, you were not abnormal. That is exactly what you have to do. So, therefore, it's just like getting it stuck on a popsicle. You just got to wait for the spit to warm it up so you can take it off. Mic drop.
How does that make me wrong? I'm sorry.
Because when we did that episode, you were like, it's a pole, Heather. It's not just a popsicle. It's a big, heavy pole, and it's harder to get your tongue off. That's exactly what you sounded like and the exact words that you used.
So you're telling me that you're going to fucking put your wet lips on a cold-ass pole to try and warm it up?
Did you grow up where it was really snowy all the time? No, you didn't.
Did you?
No, but my friend Kristen did, and that's who we're hearing from right now.
Well, Kristen is wrong. I'm sure she got her lips stuck to a pole multiple times. You're going to alienate
one of our only listeners. Well done. Thank you.
I have to be right.
Excellent. Well, I guess that's all we got. That's all we got this week.
What was that thing that you sent me that I had to come up with answers for?
That was for the next episode because I forgot to do that for this episode.
Gotcha.
Fun. We could, if you want to just wrap it up with one randomly generated question, we could.
Sure.
All right.
You're going to randomly generate us a question?
I'm going to go to randomword.com and get it from there. What uncommon thing would you encourage everyone to try once? I don't think I do a single uncommon thing with my life. I am very dull.
I don't think I do either. I think I'm very boring.
I like to do puzzles. I like to read books.
Uh-huh.
I mean, okay, here's what I guess I could say if I'm stretching for an answer. Pick up and read a book that you consider to be, or listen to the audiobook that you consider to be the antithesis of your point of view on something. Just pick up and read something that is from another point of view.
Mm-hmm.
on anything.
Yeah.
Just
sure.
do it. If for no other reason than that you can understand where somebody else is coming from, even if you still disagree by the end of it.
Sure.
And that, Ryan, to bring back a really old segment, is my free advice for this episode as well.
Very nice. Well played.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone. Until we play.
Until we meet again. Oh, until we play again.
It is so good that you are not an actor. Would you ever have gotten the lines right in a single thing? Until we play again. Okay, I love you.
That's what takes are for. Take one. I get it by at least take 35.
I don't have time for takes, okay? I'm the one that does all the editing. I have a limited schedule. Until we play again.
How many times have we taken takes on pre-recorded stuff, Heather?
Take 2. Until we play again.
Until we play again.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.